Welcome to Jerry and Larry's diver hunting video for the forum. We promised that we'd do this for a while, but before I give you the components that we use and move on to a diagram on a dry erase board, and then ultimately we'll go and show you the spread in action, a disclaimer. This is the way we do it. Is it the best? Probably not, but it's a way that works for us. But we do it in shallow water, first of all, and we don't deal with massive tides. We have tidal currents, but nothing like some of you guys around the Georgia coast talk about having to deal with. So when we show you the weights, we'll talk about some pretty light weights, but all you got to do is ramp up the poundage on these weights. It's the application of the weight, how we get it to our main line, that I think that may interest some of you. A lot of you probably use some of these components, but we've gotten so many questions we decided to do this video. First, I'm going to cover the components that we use. We use regular long line clips. These are super heavy duty clips. They're a 6-inch and they have 8/0 stainless steel. We make our own components, whether it be the weight system like that. Let me show you these first. This is a I think it's called a bank sinker. Got them off eBay. These are 1-pounders. You can buy them up to 22 ounces, and of course you can use anything for these. This is the ones that I make. These are some that Larry had put together. He uses a piece of lead here or a piece of steel. Gosh, you can do anything. Guys on the coast, you may want to use some of the old window weights out of an old house. But there's your clips. They work pretty well. We carry these weights. We call this the weight necklace. When the guy's deploying, the actual guy who's pulling the line out is going to deploy carrying many of these weights, probably about 10 to 12. But to keep his hands free, you do it just like that. When you need a weight, it's that simple, clip, and you're walking away. So you don't have to worry about fumbling with the weights in the dark. Similar system for the Decoy Rig. We run a 12-inch drop right here, but you can see that the 12-inch gives you a lot more than 12 inches. The keel, the swivel, it's 2/0 Cabela's black brass swivel, regular decoy line clips, and then of course your gang clips. One of the coolest things that we came up with, and I'm sure other people have thought of this, but we put it in a boat swivel bracket. We can put this on any of the pedestals in the boat, but one of the things we're considering doing, we haven't done it yet, is to put them on the corners. So we're looking for the actual bushings, and we can put them on the very corners. They work great in the middle of the boat, but when you're reeling in, you really need to be closer to your edge. But the reel it's a steel handle with a plastic spool here. If you use the eye bolt assembly, and I would highly recommend you do that so you don't backlash the thing, use an eye bolt that's big enough for whatever you break your line into. We do it in 50 to 75 foot sections. Larry uses swivels, barrel swivels. I use a regular dog type clip. I like these because they're stainless and you can use one hand to do it, and in the dark with a glove on, it's no problem at all. Doesn't really matter how you break them down though. But whatever you use for those breakdowns, it needs to be able to fit through this. I would also suggest slightly opening this where if you ever want it out, you can. If you ever want it back in, you can just pop it through your eye bolt right there. It's a neat little deal right there. Another thing you need to consider is a brake system. This is the Russell anti-lock braking system that I devised. It's nothing more than a strap weight with a screw through it, but it keeps you from over-rolling. You can put a lot of pressure on it. It'll basically shut the spool down, or you can back it off and let it free spool. But it's a pretty good way to do it. That's a great idea though, consider that. A lot of discussions about how people are carrying their weights. Their decoys themselves. This is the way we do it. You can carry 30 or so decoys with one hand. You can carry them out if you need to. And one of the neatest things is when you're transporting down the road, we'll have 150 decoys. And once you pile these on top of each other, they kind of interlock, but they don't tangle. So you don't have to worry about them blowing out of the boat. They're quick to get off. You can see it just takes one hand to pop them off and deploy them onto the line. They're also quick when you're taking your decoys up, get them right back on the line. Just quick. The rope, if you hold it tight like that, it's that simple to hook up. That's the way they go on your long line as well. That's all there is to it. That's it for the components. Let's move on to the board. All right, I'm going to show you a pretty basic spread that we use, and a lot of you probably use this as well, but again, this video's for the guys who are kind of just getting started in diver hunting or want some additional information. What we'd like eventually is for y'all to give us feedback. Give me some of your ideas too. We're just learning this. We learn as we go. We're about 4 or 5 years into this diver hunting thing, but we've been pretty successful. This is a basic point set up right here. This is north, and we're going to deal with a northwest wind today. So the setup is for northwest wind. One of the first things I do, and I didn't do this in the beginning, but I'm religious about it now, is that I always set a point where I want my outside of my spread to be. If you don't establish that point before you deploy, usually the tendency is to get your decoys too close to you. Divers hate land, everybody knows that. If you get those decoys as far as you can out and still have an ethical shot at that you're outside of your spread, you're gonna be a lot happier. So before I'll start, I'll look where we're gonna hunt. Let's just say it's our blind location, and I will pace out about 40 yards. I'll put something there. If it's deeper water, I'll use a float, or I'll put a stick out there, or whatever it takes. I'll also mark about 65 yards down here. So I'm going this direction about 65 yards. I'll mark that. That's my starting point. We attempt to do a single line deployment because it makes it easy to get it out, and much more importantly, when you're tired at the end of the day, it's easy to get back up. So how we do that is we're going to start. One guy's at the boat. He's deploying the decoys on the line. He's clipping in. 2 is better because if you have a guy handing these, the guy who's going to walk out here and deploy these, again, we're talking shallow water here, less than 4 foot. It makes it really, really fast. But let's just say the boat's over here somewhere. You're going to start clipping in decoys. The guy takes the weight necklace and he starts walking. He's got a decoy in the line. He takes a step, clip, takes a step, clip. So your deployer guy's hooking in as he goes. But you're going to start your spread right here. You're going to run a line. You're going to clip on a weight right here. Anytime you see a bend in this diagram, I'm exaggerating it a little bit, you're going to be clipping in a weight. So you're going to come across. You're going to drop down. You're going to come back. Drop down, come back. Drop down, come back. Drop down, come back. And then you can leave a little tail if you want to. So in this particular instance, you're going to have a weight here, 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 and here. And of course, there's a lot of different patterns you could do. You could do inverted U's here, whatever you want to do in a weight. Looks like a lot of weights, but remember, it takes literally a half a second to snap a weight on. We're running about 20-ounce weights, times everything's factored in right here. Remember too, without weight or without current, your line is sinking line, so it's going to be on the bottom and it provides a lot of drag. Every decoy, if it's shallow enough, will also, the clip itself will provide weight. You're going to put your decoys on. Actually, they were already on. Remember, you did one every 3 to 5 feet, whatever you want to do like that. Every little mark is a decoy. Looks kind of like a cluster right now, right? Let me show you how to open up your pocket. Don't try to do the pocket as you go. Go ahead and clip all your decoys on every 3 to 5 foot. Then once you get that spread out there and you want your landing zone, you're going to come in here and you're going to take a decoy off. Take a decoy off, a decoy off, a decoy off. And you've got a hole there. Remember, this is about 80 decoys, maybe 100 decoys. So you may take off 10 right there to make a hole. You can put that hole anywhere you want it. You can also bring this line around if you people that want to do a double tail out here and do this. You're going to have decoy, 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 decoy. So your landing hole is here now, if that's the way you choose to do it. I don't like that linear look in decoys, so I like to break it up. But it doesn't take a lot of decoys to do it. You can come out here, the black ones are going to be extra decoys. Pop one in here and there to break up that look. Be careful putting them on the outside of your spread too many though, because you don't want them to come up that outside spread. One of the tendencies, almost always, if the ducks are going to come into the wind, they're going to fly this line. Sometimes they're going to want to land on the outside of your spread, so we're going to provide some suction for them. Remember, your wind's coming like this, so you're going to have a little bit of an eddy right here. Let's take a handful of decoys, or you can deploy another short line real quick. Do a quick U or V or whatever you want to do there. Throw a few decoys on it. And then just throw a handful in here. If you need more decoys on your backside right here, just throw a few out. It doesn't take many, maybe 10 or 15. So at the end of the day, you've only got to pick up about 10 decoys. Now let's talk about pulling this line up. It's real simple to do, and this is where it gets fun, and this is where it makes it all worthwhile. You're going to walk up first. The last decoys deployed are the first ones you want to take back up. So pull all your extra decoys that are in the way out of the way first. So you got about 10 decoys to pick up. Throw them back to the boat. Now all you've got to do is position your boat right here. Grab the end of this line, hook it to your reel, and start cranking. If you used 1 pound weights or 2 pound weights, that 1/4 inch line, you reel it all in. So your deployment is simply walking out, getting the line, and you start cranking. You got a guy at the boat who's unclipping. One guy's cranking, one guy's unclipping, another guy's just snapping them on as fast as you can reel them in. Is it perfect? Probably not, but in a shallow water application, it really, I can't think of a better way to do it. We welcome any points that y'all got to throw at us, but now let's go take a look at it deployed and show you how fast you can reel it in. Oh, Butterfinger. Oh, I don't need that as a fan.